Kangaroo Island is dramatically different from any other island off the Australian coast. Situated at the foot of St Vincent's Gulf in South Australia, this land has been shaped by nature's hand into an island paradise, not of tropical palms and beaches, but of a beauty that is typically Australian. Unlike most other parts of the Australian continent, the island's environment has been influenced very little by Aboriginal man. It's believed the Aborigines left the island over 5,000 years ago. Indeed, when Europeans first set foot here, they were greeted by kangaroos, which, having not been hunted for centuries, held no fear of man. These roos soon became easy prey and an abundant food source for the first explorers. Isolated from the mainland over 10,000 years ago by a strip of water 14 kilometres wide, it became the third largest offshore island in Australia. Its idyllic beauty and unspoilt charm takes time to discover. Around every corner, a new experience awaits. Waters of the lagoons that cover the landscape are alive with ducks and birds. The many rivers and streams create small pockets of natural beauty and charm as they meander across the landscape. Picturesque bays and inlets form the junction between rivers and the sea. But this island abounds with natural wonders of many contrasts. The sea, that has pounded the southern shores of this island for countless centuries, has created a wild, spectacular coastline with rugged cliffs and startling rock formations. On the quieter northern shores, beautiful coves and secluded beaches surrounded by eucalypts, mallees and acacias set this island apart from any other in the world. The undulating hills of farmlands give way to virgin forests of the national parks, which abound with wildlife and a floral display of every imaginable colour, all unique to Australia. The flowers that carpet this landscape are a florist's dream. The vivid reds of bottle brushes, golden blooms of wattles, delicate mauves of melaleucas, all burst from bushes and shrubs, clothing the countryside in a riot of colour. These flowers attract many insects and birds. The Ligurian bees, brought to the island from Italy over 100 years ago, gather the pollen from the flowers for their hives. Nature's factories making the honey that the island is renowned for. Birds of all shapes and colours are prolific on this island. Vivid lorikeets and parrots wing their way through the undergrowth, their colours and calls adding another element of unusual beauty to this island landscape. Majestic black swans with their baby cygnets are a common sight on the numerous rivers and lagoons. Closer to the coast, many species of seabirds inhabit the estuaries and beaches. Pelicans are quite at home here with the seagulls and terns. The Flinders Chase National Park at the western end of the island offers a look back in time to what the land was like thousands of years ago. The lush forests of eucalypts and mallee, interspersed with acacias, banksias and tea trees, stretch across the land, coming to an abrupt halt at the water's edge. Here, some of the most spectacular coastal scenery in Australia can be glimpsed. Standing on a solid granite promontory which plunges into a deep blue sea, remarkable rocks truly live up to their name. For countless centuries, these rocks have been carved out of the solid granite by the relentless weathering action of wind and water. Nature has sculptured this rock into some of the most unusual shapes ever imagined. The envy of sculptors and artists alike. Just west of remarkable rocks on the weather-beaten peninsula that forms Cape de Coody, nature has etched yet another spectacle. Admiral's Arch, a majestic cavern created by the erosion of two contrasting rock types, adds another element of mystic beauty to this ancient landscape. Fringing the roof are stalactites and petrified roots of plants which once grew in the sand dunes that covered the rock thousands of years ago. A colony of New Zealand fur seals inhabits the turbulent waters around the Cape. They are often sighted swimming and foraging for food in the water and around rocks at the base of the huge cliffs. The park is an untouched wilderness rich with animal life. It's one of those rare and beautiful places where man can closely observe and gain a better understanding of these native animals and the role they have played in shaping the environment into what it is today. Each animal is significant in maintaining the ecological balance of the land. Reptiles like the black snake and Gould's sand goanna, which can grow up to 1.6 metres, can be found in the scrub. These animals are ideally suited to the island's environment. The most commonly seen animal on the island is the Kangaroo Island kangaroo. Having inhabited the island for thousands of years, this animal is quite at home here and holds very little fear of man. Due to the island's isolation, these kangaroos have never suffered the ravages of the dingo or fox, and so they continue to thrive. To avoid the possibility of extinction on the mainland, Cape Barren geese were introduced to the park in the 1920s. The birds are now successfully breeding here and can be seen browsing on the open grasslands. The park is ideal for observing the koala, which was introduced to the area about 50 years ago. Most of its daylight hours are spent sleeping in the forks of the eucalypt trees. It's very apt at climbing and balancing in some very precarious positions. Its main diet consists of eucalypt leaves and consumes about 1 kilogram of leaves a day. Echidnas, with their long noses and spiny coats, waddle their way through the bushes in search of ants and termites, their main source of food. Some of the pools and streams of the national park are inhabited by the platypus. At dusk they can be glimpsed amongst the reeds and along the mud banks, foraging for food. As night approaches, the countryside comes alive with many species of nocturnal animals. The most common, the brush-tailed possum, lives in the hollows of branches or tree trunks, coming out only at night. To stroll through this park is an unforgettable experience. To be able to come so close to wild animals and even touch them is a memory that will last a lifetime. Of all the islands around Australia, this island has one of the most diverse landscapes of all, from the lush green forests of Flinders Chase National Park to the stark white sand dunes of the Little Sahara. Standing in the centre of these huge sand hills is like standing in another place, in another time. From wandering through wind-swept sand dunes to the eerie stillness and solitude of caves deep beneath the ground is just another experience that this magic isle can offer. The Kelly Hill Caves, discovered by accident in 1880, when a horse fell down the sinkhole, contain some of the most beautiful caverns in the world. In chambers formed 140,000 years ago, deposits of calcite are still continuing today to slowly build the strange array of red, brown and cream decorations. These caves are just another one of the surprises nature has created on this island of wonders. The beaches on this island rival any found on the Australian mainland. Each bay has its own character, its own enchantment. Their secluded beauty is a nature lover's dream, a beachcomber's delight. Unspoilt bays with golden sands stretch as far as the eye can see, adding their romantic charm to this paradise isle. Kangaroo Island is a true nature's paradise, a natural zoo where people can observe nature at its best without the restriction of bars and cages. Nowhere on the island is this more evident than at Seal Bay, home to several hundred Australian sea lions. This is the second largest breeding colony in Australia, and one of the most unusual features of this colony is its tolerance of humans. As with other animals on the island, it's possible to walk within a few metres of them and observe these creatures in their natural habitat. The seas that surround the island abound with numerous fish species and so provide an abundant food source for the seals. The inshore waters are a haven for the southern right whale, which often pass its coastline. Kangaroo Island has been described as unique, romantic and enchanting. It is all that and more. Here is an island paradise like no other. An island where we are rewarded with a feast of nature's colours, sounds and wildlife. An island which, with careful management, will remain an open classroom from which we can learn and discover more about the fascinating animals which inhabit the Australian continent. An island for all of mankind to share and enjoy for generations to come.